It's me, Brian. So this just happened. We decided we were going to work on the yard. And for me, throughout my entire life, yard meant something that was green, sometimes brown, and I mowed it. Whether it's grass, whether it's weeds, it's all the yard. I'm not one of those people. But our yard has kind of gotten to the point that it needs a little attention. We had some work done to the house, which caused some dirt piles in the yard that no longer have green stuff growing. It's getting a little bumpy. Mowing the grass, there's a risk of twisting our ankle. So we made a plan. Step number one, let's level the yard. So I rented a power rake. Thought I'd do twofold damage. Dethatch the yard and knock down some of those bumps with the spinny tines and, help start leveling that process. So I went to the local hardware store, home center, and rented a power rake. Now, while I was there, the older gentleman that runs the place said that he had gotten some complaints about this particular unit that I was renting, but it was my only option because the other units were out, and that they had just repaired it, rebuilt it, put new belts on it, and as far as they knew, it worked. But because this is a home center and there's no lawn, they were not able to test it. So I was to take it home, run it, and if I had any problems, call, and they would refund my money. He would leave a note for the person that took over after he left. So loaded it up, got it home, started running in the yard. Worked like a champ. Did probably half of the backyard, 2 different directions, no problems. Started heading out to the front yard. Did the side yard, started doing the front yard, and it stalled. So, long story short, it stopped working. It wouldn't run at all, was not getting gas. So, I called the home center and said, look, relayed my story, was told to call as soon as it was causing problems. It's causing problems. What do you want me to do? They said, well, bring it back in the morning. I said, not possible. I work in the morning. I'll bring it back right now. Can you refund my money? And he said, well, I'll do what I can do. I'm like, all right. So I got cleaned up the machine, put gas in it, took it back to the store. I get there. There's a young guy working. He's new, very new. And I explained what happened, what arrangements I had made, and he calls his manager. Manager doesn't call back. There's people stacking up behind me wanting to return their tools. So he refunds me most of my money. And I said, hold on, very politely. I said, I was promised that I would get all of my money back if this didn't work. And if you can't give me all my money back, then give me a free rental of another power rake. Let me rent it again this weekend. No charge. He called his manager again. No answer. He goes and takes care of a couple of customers. Comes back, still no manager. And he tries again. He doesn't know how. He hasn't been trained. And he says, here's what I'll do. I'll leave a note for the guys in the morning, and they will call you and get this all worked out. And I said, would you mind if I went and got the manager? He said, sure. He had tried to call, and the manager wasn't showing up. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll go get a manager. I'll be right back. So I walked to the other side of the store, customer service, and I said, hey, can I talk to a manager? We're having some problems in rental. And it just so happened that the manager was standing right there at rental, and the young lady I was talking to said, hey, manager, this gentleman we need a manager. And the manager, laughing, says, oh, sorry, manager left. He went home for the night. I can't help you. She kind of laughs uncomfortably while glancing at me and says, "No, really, we need a manager." And I'm cool. They're having fun. I get it. I know I'm going to get things taken care of. So the manager comes over, explain the story, and he apologizes and says, "Let me call the rental guy real quick." So he calls back to the rental guy. He doesn't answer the phone, the new guy, because he is helping another client. And I said, "I think he's helping somebody unload something that they were bringing in when I left." He's like, "Okay, well, I'll take care of you, and then I'll go down." And he works his magic on the computer. He apologizes, says, "This is going to take a few minutes because he's got to return it in 2 systems, refund my money, blah, 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 blah." I really didn't care. I understand things take time, right? I've worked in customer service. I work with customers all the time. I get it. So I'm just standing there patiently, waiting. He gives me all my money back. He checks his phone. He goes, "Man," "my phone did ring twice. I don't know why I didn't answer it, but I'm going to go down and talk to the rental guy." I'm like, "Well, I'll walk with you because I got to go that way anyway. My car's parked over there." So we're walking down and we're talking, chit-chatting and everything. And I told him, I said, "Look, I just want to let you know that new guy did a really good job. He clearly is new and wasn't sure what to do, but he tried a bunch of stuff. He stayed calm. He was very good with his communicating and telling me what he was going to try and do. He came up with a plan that he was going to leave a note for the guys in the morning and they would take care of it." So high marks for the new guy. And I just wanted to let you know, which he seemed very appreciative. The manager seemed very appreciative of that, as he should be. I always appreciate it when someone says nice things about one of my coworkers or employees. And we get down there, and the manager immediately tells the new guy, "Hey, sorry, man. I really appreciate, I know you're new. I didn't mean to hang you out like that. It's not the way we do things. I missed your call." It was like being a good manager, a good leader, taking responsibility, doing the right thing, and congratulating the new guy. And I started walking out the door, and as I leave, I hear the manager say, "Oh, by the way, he said you did a really good job. That's awesome," and started praising the employee again, telling the employee that I said nice things and that the manager was really impressed with the new guy's customer service. Moral of the story: if you follow rule number 1, things will work out. I personally know people that would have handled that completely different. They would have raised stink to high heaven, yelling, screaming, demanding things get taken care of, demanding they get their money back. And as I've always said, rule number 1, don't be a dick. As long as you're cool, you stay calm, you stay firm, get your money back, make sure they do things right, but there's no reason to yell at the new guy over that. There's no reason to yell at the manager. They're just doing their jobs. They got it fixed in the end. I was out a few minutes of my life, which wasn't a big deal. Did not realize how dirty I was, so I'm sure I was a sight covered in mud. But it all got taken care of. That employee feels good about his job and what he did, and the manager feels good about his new employee. So it's win-win-win. Rule number 1, don't be a dick. It's just a thought.